Okay, yeah. So I also want to know that if a child moves in, would you establish or set up any rules for them?
Let me just see that again.
Rules.
The child is new. What rules we would have? Yes, we do have rules. In fact, in the application process, when we fill out our homestay application information, all about our family, they ask us about rules. What's a normal weekday look like? What's a normal weekend? What are rules that the child should expect? There's also homestay rules. So for example, Asta can only sleep over at another international student's home without lots of checks done, because the program has already done the checks. We've got criminal record, background check, child abuse background checks done, and we know all the other homestay families have that as well. So the homestay program also has curfew rules. But the other rules that I would say are more our rules are things like how many friends to have over at lunchtime. So if you're coming home from school, we don't expect that you're going to have 6 friends come over and that we're feeding them all lunch and that, they leave a mess on the counter. We would expect that we get to know the kids' friends and we will give feedback. If we think they're like wonderful, respectful friends, they're more welcome back into the house. If they're friends that we would tell our own daughter, that friend is a bit of a challenge, that we would start talking about some of the expectations of having different friends over. If there was one friend that would just kind of come in with shoes on, walk throughout the house in wintertime. So there was wet snow in our kitchen. She helped herself to our pantry cupboard of food. Just things that aren't quite normal in this house. We would expect a little more check with us. Could I have, some pudding, or could I have some of this in the cupboard? Or
and we can also ask them what kind of rules they have at home. So we can try and balance it for what they're used to what we do as well, and make them feel comfortable.
Sorry, Paige, can you just check on Callie? She's a little close to the dog.
And make them feel comfortable here. Let them know that for the time that they're here, this is their home. They don't need to ask if they want to have a glass of milk. They don't need to ask if you want to have something to eat. This is your home. Eat. Do what you're going to do. And that's, I think that we try and stress that right from the beginning, so they're not stressed out wondering, can they touch this? Can they touch that? This is your home. And that's that's very important to help them feel relaxed here right away as soon as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like in general, we want to take that first month to show them how to live in our house. So what are our expectations? Asta, she does her laundry every Monday, and she does her own laundry, and it's only her stuff in that laundry load. Normally we would do everybody's laundry, but we love that Asta wants to do her own laundry. Bonus, right? It's a growing up stage, and she definitely is responsible for, she's a very grown up young lady. But trying to explain things that we don't do, like we don't have 30-minute showers. We would keep it under 10 minutes. So to respect the use of water, we're not going to run a load of laundry with just a few clothes in it. We would run it when it's full. And then, in general, just respecting the house, respecting the parents, that if they're unsure of something, just to check in. We did have a challenge with one boy. Careful there, baby. He was, I think sometimes the school level is different in from the country they're coming from to our school system. And so sometimes their academic level is higher than the school grade they're placed in here. So they get bored. And so at school, they might get into a bit of trouble because they're just playing around. They're having a fun time socially. They're not listening to the teacher. So we would address school problems at the school level. We would go to the teachers and we would talk about that. But it might mean that when they come home, they might not be able to go out as much. They need to start focusing on their schoolwork. They need to start following some of the expectations that school has as well of them. But yeah, our young boy, 13 again, and very young, in a lot of ways, but he would sneak in his friends through the basement window. So their winter boots all through the bed, all through the floors, and a lot of friends. Meanwhile, our son was coming home at the same time and just comes through the front door. Meanwhile, our little boy from Mexico would come through his bedroom window and make a mess of things. So we had to talk about that.
Yeah.
Some challenges.
Yes, you do have some challenges for that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And how do you handle conflicts? Maybe you already mentioned that, but do you have any, cases for the cultural differences? Yeah, you might arise. Yeah.
So how do we
might
handle
arise.
conflict? And then what was the
Conflict
other one?
and cultural differences?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we did touch a bit about how we handle. Come on here, baby. How we handle conflict is that we want to start off at the lowest level of intervention. So we will start with having a conversation with the student and make sure that they're aware that there is a bit of a challenge here, that there's something just a little amiss, and that we need to talk about it and figure out what is going on. If it doesn't change, we might get a little stricter. We might talk about, that you're going to be home in the evening, and we're going to kind of work on getting through this challenging time, and we're going to figure it out. If things don't change, then we have the option to talk to the homestay program, and they will help us out with anything that we might have a question or a concern about.
And then, and any other bigger problems, we try to keep their natural parents up to date as well. So if something were to go down, we also have them tell their parents something happened, or we'll talk to the parents, let them know so they're on board. They know what's going on while the child's here. So they're not hearing a different story than what we're telling them.
Yeah, and when we've had a chance to talk to the parents and get to know the parents, when we get to know the parents before the student comes, then the parents often are emailing us sort of privately and saying helpful things like we ask what food do they like to eat. We want to make sure we have all those foods in the house for when they arrive. But also they tell us things that they're worried about. Maybe she's a little shy and she might not make friends easily. Or I can't think of another example. But then they often say, please let us know if there's any concern or challenge or problem at all. And when that's what the parents are saying to us by email, those are the kids that we never have a concern about, because they're already have done all the work to prepare their child for this trip. Often at the beginning years, probably the first 10 years, we probably didn't have very much contact with the parents at all, because there wasn't much of Facebook at that time. The language barrier with the parents was much more of a challenge, because we don't speak their language. They don't speak English. So we would have very little contact with the parents in the earlier days. But nowadays, so much contact with the parents. And even if the student is translating the conversation,
Yes.
totally fine, because it all just gels. It rolls very well. Just like how you asked Asa to just translate something really quickly, right? It flowed. Didn't matter at all.
Yes.
Nope.
Oh, careful, girly.
Yeah. All right. And can you share a memorable experience that you had with an international student?
Oh, for sure.
That's right.
A memorable experience with international students. And I want to, as much as we've had to deal with a couple of challenging situations, it's been 99.9% amazing, wonderful.
Oh.
So I'll share this. We've had about 16, 17 students, or 15 students from so many different countries. So we've had Mexico, Brazil, Spain, Italy, South Korea, Germany, Mexico, I think I said already.
China.
No, we haven't had China.
Taiwan.
Oh,
Taiwan.
Taiwan.
Yep.
Not
Yep.
China.
Yeah. that when our oldest son got married, Billy got married, we had Sophie from Germany. She flew back to Canada to live with us for a week or two, and came to the wedding. So that was fantastic. And then when we went on our trip to Europe, we took our whole family to Europe for 3 weeks, and we went to Germany, and we saw another student, Lena, and she traveled around with us for a few days.
And even now with our Asta here, she's been here with us for 3 years. She has been around for weddings.
Oh yeah.
Every birth of all 3 births of our grandchildren, she was here.
Pets coming and going.
Graduations. You know, it's just, she shared so many big events in our lives that, you know, she's one of ours. She's our daughter forever. You know, and that's, we feel that way for everybody. We always try and tell our students after they leave that they've always got a home here in Canada. They can come back at any time, bring their friends. They always have a home here, a place to stay, always. And especially with Asta, like I'd say, like she's been involved in everything in the last 5 years of our lives. She's been a part of 100%, and not as a student. She's been part of it as our daughter, and that's huge for us.
So lovely.
Yeah, we didn't know that the homestay program had an option for summer, but then COVID hit, and asked, "Can I stay for the summer?" Sure. No, can I stay for 3 years? Sure. That was new, because it's normally 5 months or 10 months. That's it. And, you know, I guess that's the other piece is we've been able to watch all of these kids grow up and all their changes throughout their 5 months or 10 months with us. But then again, especially Asta, we've been able to see her from about 15 to 18, where she's had her 18th birthday. We've seen her graduate from grade 12. We've seen her have a boyfriend.
Wow.
Yeah, and she's had lots of wonderful first time experiences that we've been able to have the privilege.
Got your earplugs again.
Oh, how awkward.
Oh.
That we've been having the privilege of being able to experience with our students, and that's truly like an honor and a blessing that we've been able to be involved in their lives this way. Also, if something is sort of a difficult time for them and we're able to be there for them, because maybe back home one of our students, her grandpa died and she's devastated, she's upset, come on, sit down. But being able to be there for them for those times, and help them through it, and start talking about grief maybe for the first real time in their lives. Those moments to us are very important that we handle well, and as responsible parents, that we are there helping them with those natural life processes.
Okay, that's great. And the last question. So, as a host family, As a host family, is there anything else you would like to say or to share with the parents who are preparing to send their children abroad for studying?
Don't be scared to do it. There's so many great families out here, and the families that are taking the students in want them to come in. They want them to be part of their lives. They want to show them what Canada's about, what Winnipeg's about, where your culture is. Don't be afraid to send your kids. They're going to have a wonderful time. It'll be an experience they'll never ever forget, and I don't think you could go wrong with it.
Yeah, I'm very happy with the River East Homestay program, that they have been there for us to talk about anything that we're wondering about.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, all right. I think, yeah, you did good job. Can we do like this? So last part, we just say, welcome to Canada or welcome to Winnipeg. Yeah, anything.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
One person, one sentence. Okay.
Welcome to Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. We'd love to see you.
Well, that's me. You're going to have a great time. Don't ever think you can't do it, because you can do whatever you want to do.
Well, Canada is a really, really open country, multicultural, so don't be afraid. You're going to be perfectly fine here.
Oh, thank you.